If you'd like to see more of our videos, please subscribe to our channel on YouTube or follow us here on Instagram. Good morning, traders. Welcome to today's market review. This is Fred Razek at CM Trading. Today's December 17, 2019, and today is Tuesday morning, so no major economic event scheduled for today. However, as the week progresses, we'll have some more news coming out. Now, looking at the markets yesterday, okay, and looking at the markets expecting today, British pound retraces while the euro pretty much unchanged. Not much volatility, not much volume there as volume recedes after this massive event last week. Now, looking at the Dow Jones setting new record highs on a Monday, okay, which is very uncharacteristic. Mondays are usually days where we sell off a little bit and so on and so forth. So the fact that we set new record highs for a Monday is a big deal, and just not just a big deal altogether that we've set new record highs for the Dow Jones. Now, looking at the commodities, gold remains steady, which I would have thought it would have sold off a little bit, adding some uncertainty there. While oil closing on resistance, multi-time frame resistance, very important. We're going to take a look at it. Lastly, looking at the stocks, banks continue to explode. JP Morgan, Bank of America, all the financials go to new highs, while we see Facebook actually make an about turn. Okay, yesterday we said it was weak, and it just completely changed character, including the FANG stocks making new highs as well. Apple, Google, Netflix, amazing. Okay, so let's take a look at the markets and see what we can expect from today's trading. So like I said, euro didn't change much, so we're going to jump into the GBP. As you can see, this was the massive event that we had last week with the elections in the United Kingdom. We're looking at the GBP USD, as you can see, and we're just flirting with our moving average right now. Okay, so if it does break this area right here, we could certainly see it go back to this 131. Now, this is called a fade opportunity, okay, where the market has a knee-jerk reaction in one direction and then corrects itself after all the dust is settled, okay? So I think we still have some room to go here. However, on the upside, remember, I said this yesterday, the Dow, we're looking at, excuse me, a weekly chart of the GBP, and you can see here when we last had the Brexit vote, okay, we sold off quite tremendously right there, and we haven't seen us really make back besides this one time in the middle of the year where we had some optimism to Brexit. We haven't had this type of rally in quite some time. We've been underneath this 133 most of the time since 3.5 years ago. So with that said, okay, if we do decide to break it out higher, we could definitely get back to this 143. Okay, but before we get that, we may retrace still. Okay, so just be aware of that, as that may still happen going into today, going into next week. Now, looking at gold, okay, as the Dow Jones actually makes new highs, we perked up to 1477, which is a little bit uncharacteristic because I would have expected gold to actually sell off, and it didn't. Okay, now a couple of things, okay, maybe just trading into the top of the range just before, you know, a sell-off could be, but it looks like it's solidifying here, and this is making myself a little bit uncomfortable as gold is actually going into the end of the year rallying. Okay, it could be a little bit of a few things that are making it go higher, especially if it does break above 1480. You do want to know about it because that means it'll go up back higher to the 1500-ish level. Okay, so that's something to consider. However, if it does retrace here, okay, and you might want to jump on the bandwagon to actually short it because it's challenged at this 1477 several times. Okay, what I don't like about the fact is that also oil is trading above its upper range. Now we're looking at oil right here. Okay, we're jumping into oil. Now, oil is trading at $60 a barrel. Now, if you guys remember, the Saudi pipeline was attacked by an Iranian drone. That happened here, okay? And that perked up the market from $54 to $62, okay, on its high. All right, so we haven't been in this area in quite some time. So it's a little bit disconcerting that we're back in this area, but it's also natural because as the price of oil actually rallies up, so does the Dow Jones, and we know they work consistently together. So with that said, you can see that we're trading at this $60-ish level. If we do break above it, then we could go back to the 70-ish level, okay, 65-ish level. We're looking at a daily chart, so this is only 1 year. But if we look at a weekly chart, you'll see that actually we've got more room to go on the upside. Now, jumping into the Dow Jones, all-time highs, 28,237, hitting that area. Now, At a certain point, I expect it to actually explode, okay? And I'll tell you why. Because the stocks are making and going higher, okay? And the Dow Jones is reluctantly going higher. And at a certain point, I think it's just going to go much higher. Now, remember, I said it's going to go to 30,000 by the end of the year. I'm still off by 1,800 points, okay? But that was my target, okay? Altogether, the stocks are very strong. JP Morgan trading at 138-ish levels, just selling off in after-hours trading. Bank of America, $34. Okay, nice breakout there. If we look at the tech stocks, Google, all-time highs, 1356. Let's just take a look at a monthly chart. You see, even in the candle, we're at the top of the top of the top, so not really retracing much. And you could see that clearer on a 4-hour chart. Now, jumping into Microsoft, same story, okay, 155. Looking at Apple, whoops, that's not a good chart of Apple. 1 second, that's not even a chart of Apple. That's Bitcoin. Let's look at Apple. Apple trading at 279, almost 280. Remember, this was my 250 target for the year. Now, looking at Facebook, we had an about turn, okay? A nice little perk from above this 193. We're at resistance level at this 197, so I'd like to see it close in on this 201 and perhaps take it higher. Now, since I did jump into Bitcoin earlier by mistake, I do want to jump into it just briefly. We're under 7,000, excuse me, for the first time in quite some time, okay? So this is actually very, very historic, and if we do continue selling off, we could see it back to this 59.23-ish level, okay? A minor support level at this 6,600-ish level, and we're just about 200 points away from it. So this can capitulate. You know, it's been very stop and go with the Bitcoins and some of the cryptocurrencies, because you could see some of the luster actually coming out of it. You know, everything has somewhat subsided from our initial gusto to, you know, where we went to about 20,000 2 years ago to where we are today. So with that said, just keep in mind that this does have still room to go down. This is Fred Razak, and I wish you guys a great trading day. Thank you.